guys, Ride the Nerd here, and today we're going to be taking a look at another Transformers mock, and this time we're taking a look at Heatsink. Now, Heatsink is actually supposed to be a transforming PS5. Now, if you've been on my channel for any length of time and a transforming PS5 sounds familiar to you, it's because I actually did a animation of a popular TikTok meme that was going around at the time, where it was like, it's me or the PS5, and that was like a big thing. And, you know, I really wanted to do kind of my own spin on it. So I decided to do an animation of where the PS5 actually is a transformer and it transforms. And that's like basically the whole gag of the video. And it always kind of seemed, it always kind of appealed to me because I'm a PlayStation fan more than an Xbox fan. So I felt like this is a really good idea for me personally. But since I've been, talking about Transformers mocks recently, and I feel like doing a transforming PS5 is actually pretty cool, and it's a neat challenge because a PS5 is not like a regular PlayStation, where a regular PlayStation is more of just a big rectangular box. A PlayStation 5 has more angles and more weird stuff going on with it that makes it kind of a challenge for Lego and Transformers. So I felt like, this is kind of like the best of what I could do, basically. But it's clearly just him in a curled up position, basically. Yeah. But without, with all the other Transformer mocks that I have done, like, Microbot and Gear Switch and Piston, those were all just remodels of old mocks that I've done previously. And I didn't like how they looked, so I just changed them up a bit. Heatsink it was made completely from scratch. And a lot of Transformer mock builders don't actually tell you, but if you're building a Transformer mock from scratch without an original basis, it's really goddamn hard. This guy took me about 2 hours to make, basically. And if you're wondering how this guy took me 2 hours, is because, I didn't have any actual original basis to go off of. The only base that I actually had, like, reference to was my animation, and that was really poorly drawn. And it was little detail, and there's nothing that I could actually go off of. And the transformation in the animation didn't help at all because it was just, things just going in different places that don't make sense. So it was really hard for me, but I actually worked on the robot mode first and then worked backwards into PlayStation mode. And usually I do the opposite of working from the alt mode first and then the robot mode. So I can actually figure out some of the kinks that's going to happen. But with this one, it was a completely scratch design, so I just had to make like the robot mode look as animation accurate as possible, if you want to say it. But PlayStation mode wise, like I said before, it's clearly just him curled up in a fetal position, basically. But the only thing that I actually did that actually kind of looks reminiscent of a PlayStation is, this will come into play later, but this is supposed to be an actual PlayStation 5 controller, which I feel like I did a pretty good job of recreating, with like the joysticks and the actual kind of glowing effect in the front. I feel like I did a really good job with that. It's pretty accurate for a Lego scale. It actually pretty scales well with a minifigure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And this has nothing to do. This has to do something with the robot mode. But I just wanted to show it off because, whatever. But yeah, this will come into play in robot mode, so this has nothing to do with PlayStation mode. And it actually kind of scales really nicely with the actual, him in his, PlayStation mode. And the reason why I call them Heatsink is because, Heatsink is an actual part of a PlayStation or a console for anything like that. And I have no idea what a heatsink does. I'm not a tech guy, but I just really liked how the name sounded. So how to transform him? Well, first thing you want to do is that you want to flip up his actual legs down. Now, the animation that I did, he only had two legs, or kind of crab-like legs coming from the side. Now, in Lego, since he's so top heavy, there's no way that he could possibly stand with these side legs. So, yeah, I had to do kind of the opposite here. But it actually kind of gives him more of a crab-like. And then you want to fold out the arms here. Then you want to fold up the neck. And then you want to, then you have his bases here. Now, I wanted to make an accessory, but I didn't want to make an accessory because how was I going to put a controller into robot mode? And then I had this brilliant idea that the controller is actually his head. So you just take the controller and you just plug it on top. And then you kind of have like a Wall-E effect going on here. And it actually looks pretty similar to the animation. This entire robot mode is pretty similar to the animation. The way his head's shaped and the way that the actual kind of front of the PlayStation becomes these kind of like these arm shields here. And then you can come back to this piece here, because in the animation he kind of had like, some zapping going on here. So yeah, here's Heatsink in his robot mode, and like I said, pretty damn animation accurate, and I'm pretty happy with this. And the arms was the first thing that I actually came up with, because I felt like the arms would be, a really defined feature of a PlayStation, because this is supposed to be the front of, kind of have like the angles going downward a little bit, and kind of showing like not the inside of the PlayStation, but some, the outer layer of the PlayStation, so to speak. And the little blue of the bottom of his neck is also in there to give us some more of a glow effect. And the actual controller doesn't look too out of place. It actually is, like I said, animation accurate with these sides here. And on the back here, I don't know what this is supposed to be. PlayStation logo, I guess, but I just have that there, and I'm too lazy to take it off. So, yeah. Heatsink. So for articulation on Heatsink here, his legs are on hinge joints, so in and out. These ones are also on a hinge joint, obviously, so they can go forward and backward, pretty much. The actual arms, they're also on a hinge joint. His arm shields, I guess you can call them, are on a rotation. His actual hand, I guess you can call it, is also on a rotation. And the actual zapping or the electricity or whatever is on a hinge joint. His head is also on a hinge joint, so he can't really look up at all. But I guess that kind of makes it look like up. But, that doesn't really count as a downward motion, but he can, in fact, look down a little bit without breaking too much of the sculpt here. The head has no articulation at all, no waist articulation. It's pretty basic on articulation, but he's supposed to stand there and look kind of cute and also menacing at the same time. But I'm really happy with how Heatsink actually turned out. And I'm taking this very seriously because it was just a one-off animation, but to give him, to be a part of my Transformer mock crew, I guess you can call them, is kind of an honor, because it was just kind of a one-off thing, and I never did anything with him other than like Gear Switch and Piston and Microbot, which I did animations of basically all of them, and then remodeled them. But for him, I literally just did one animation and never did anything with him. But I feel like this is a good start to my Transformer mock building, because this is actually kind of a challenge, because I didn't have any original bases, like I said, so this guy was completely made from scratch. So this is actually giving me kind of an insight of how, I could possibly make more Transformer mocks that don't have an actual basis at all, and just kind of go from my mind and just try to find anything that fits together properly. So I feel like this is a great segue into that. And who knows, maybe next time I do a review or something like that is actually a next Transformers mock. I promise Transformer mocks are still going to happen, but you're probably going to have to wait a bit, because I still need to figure out a new idea for my next Transformers mock, and I don't know what that's going to be. And I want to do something original instead of something, that you see basically all the time with Transformer mocks. But enough rambling. That's about it for Heatsink here. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't care what you do, but you guys know what time it is. So, Bye, guys.